My aunt lectured me about my failed marriage at every holiday. Then I found out why her husband really travels for work. It started at my divorce party. Yes, I threw myself a divorce party because after 3 years of a toxic marriage, I deserved to celebrate getting out. My Aunt Lorraine showed up uninvited, looked around my apartment and said, "This is sad. You know, if you'd tried harder, you wouldn't be starting over at 32. She spent the whole night telling my friends that divorce ran in my side of the family, that I'd given up too easily, that her marriage to Uncle Dean worked because she understood what commitment meant. She cornered me in my own kitchen and whispered, "Some of us fight for our marriages instead of running away." I smiled and said nothing because she was my mom's sister, and I was taught to respect my elders. But it never stopped. Every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, every Easter, she found a way to bring it up. Still single? That's what happens when you don't learn from your mistakes. She announced at my cousin's graduation that I was between husbands, like I collected them. She told my grandmother I'd probably die alone because I was too picky now. At my nephew's baptism, she said, "Maybe if you'd gone to church more, God would have saved your marriage." My mom begged me to ignore it. My dad said that was just how Lorraine was. Meanwhile, Uncle Dean sat silently at every gathering, always checking his phone, always leaving early for work trips. Lorraine bragged constantly about how Dean's job took him to Miami, Las Vegas, New York. "He provides for us," she'd say. "That's what a real husband does." Then she reported my dating life to my entire family. She'd found my dating profile online and screenshot it to the family group chat. Just thought everyone should know what kind of example he's setting. 38 relatives saw my profile. My 80-year-old grandmother called me crying, asking if I was selling myself on the internet. I was humiliated. My cousins were laughing. Lorraine played innocent at the next dinner. "I just worry about you. Someone had to intervene." I smiled and said nothing, but something inside me snapped. I was done being her punching bag. I started paying attention to Uncle Dean's work trips because something had never added up. He worked in insurance, regional insurance. What regional insurance agent flies to Vegas 6 times a year? I did some digging, found his Facebook, which Lorraine apparently never checked. Dean had a whole other life online. Photos with women I'd never seen. Check-ins at restaurants and clubs in cities he'd supposedly been working in. Then I found her, a woman named Brittany, who'd been commenting hearts on his photos for 3 years. I clicked her profile and my jaw dropped. She had photos of Dean at her apartment, Dean at her birthday party, Dean meeting her parents. She'd posted an anniversary photo last month with the caption, "4 years with my best friend." 4 years. He'd been living a double life for 4 years while Lorraine lectured me about commitment. I screenshot everything, every photo, every comment, every check-in. I created a folder on my phone and I waited. Family reunion was 6 weeks away and Lorraine had already announced she'd be hosting because she actually had a stable home to welcome people into. The reunion was at her house. 60 relatives packed into her perfect living room with her perfect furniture and her perfect marriage on display. Dean was there, smiling, shaking hands, playing the devoted husband. Lorraine clinked her glass for a toast. "I just want to say how blessed I am to have this family. And Dean, thank you for 26 years of partnership. This is what marriage looks like when you don't give up." She looked directly at me when she said it. The room clapped. I stood up and said I had a toast too. I pulled out my phone and connected to her smart TV. "I just think everyone should see what commitment really looks like in this family." The photos started playing. Dean with Brittany, Dean at her apartment, Dean meeting her family, the anniversary post. 4 years with my best friend. The room went dead silent. Lorraine's face turned white. Dean bolted for the door and didn't even try to deny it. My grandmother stood up slowly and looked at Lorraine. "You judged this boy for years, and this is what you were hiding?" Lorraine burst into tears and screamed that I'd ruined her life. I shrugged and said, "Some of us fight for our marriages, some of us just pretend to." I walked out and didn't look back. Lorraine filed for divorce last month.